Hello, everyone. This is Empowering Democracy. I'm Joe Firestone, your host. And tonight we're doing another Dump the Corruption stream, dealing with the fundraising of Juan Vargas, Congressman from California, Lori Trahan, Congressman from Massachusetts, and Melanie Stansbury, Congressman from New Mexico. All three are members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and this is another in our series examining the fundraising of members of the Congressional Caucus and seeing whether they pass the litmus test. So the litmus test is whether people have been violating the rule relating to corruption, whether they've been taking money in their campaigns from the rich, the wealthy corporations, the party committees, and the PACs, and also whether they've been supported without any repudiation by super PACs, whether super PACs are supporting them by opposing their opponents. Those are the prohibitions of the rule. Let us now get into whether each of the congressmen that we go over today can pass the litmus test. So I'm going to start with Juan Vargas, who is the congressman from the 52nd District of California. And we're going over the funding details involved in the 2022 race for Congress. So Juan Vargas raised $942,887 in that race. He spent $793,082. Excuse me, I am going to share this so you can see it too. I apologize for forgetting to do that. There we go. So I'm being joined by Dee Pierce, co-host of Around the World with Brandy and Dee. And we were together for the last hour
Yes, we were.
for the Around the World with Brandy and Dee show as well. Um,
Brandy's in the comments too, so Brandy's here with
and
us.
Brandy's in the comments. Yes. Thank you, Brandy. How are you doing tonight, Dee? And thank you, Kay, by the way. How are you doing tonight, Dee?
I'm doing fine. I'm happy to be here, getting involved with dumping the corruption and who's taking what.
Who's taking
Hope
what, when, and how?
exactly. I
So
always
tonight we're talking about, or the first of our candidates tonight, or our congressman tonight, is Juan Vargas, who just won his race as an incumbent in the California 52nd. In that race, Juan raised $942,887, spent $793,082, and you could probably see from that the race wasn't very competitive. And he ended it with cash on hand of 219,544. So he left some cash on the table for next time. His main opponent was Tyler Geffany, who's a Republican, and Tyler raised $40,408, spent $29,229, and ended with cash on hand of $12,161. There was $280 in outside spending, that is, spending from outside groups. That was made on behalf of Juan Vargas, $280,000. There apparently was no more on outside spending we need to be concerned about. So let's move to the candidates tab here from Open Secrets. We're going over what Open Secrets has to say about this. Juan Vargas got 66.7% of the vote. You've already seen the figures that I'm sharing on the screen now. There are some useful pieces of information on this page about how the contributions, how the money raised, divided into small individual contributions less than or equal to $200. Large individual contributions, all contributions over that amount. PAC contributions, candidate self-financing, and other. So only $1,413, 0.15% of the total, was given to Juan Vargas by small individual contributions. Large individual contributions, those over 200, which mostly are made by fairly rich people or very rich people, amounted to $250,412, 26.56% of the contributions that were given to Juan Vargas. And PAC contributions, $569,400 in PAC contributions. They were 60.39%. There was no candidate self-financing. There was a bit of an oddity in that there was 121,662, or nearly 13% of the total. That's in the category of other contributions. So other is a mysterious category. We don't know who gave those contributions based on the disclosure. Okay, Tyler Geffany got $7,562, 18.71% in small individual contributions. So his percentage of small individual contributions was higher than Juan Vargas. His large individual contributions were 53.16% of his contributions. His PAC contributions were 22.96%. Candidate self-financing, $1,740, and other contributions, $350 or 0.87% of the vote. So, I'm sorry, of the contributions, not the vote, of course. Okay, it looks pretty plainly that both candidates relied, to the extent they could raise money, on large individual contributions and PAC contributions. This was especially the case in Juan Vargas's campaign. He raised 60% of his contributions from PACs, and 27% of his contributions were over $200. So were mostly from wealthy people. So it's pretty clear what and who he relies upon. We already saw there was very little super PAC money in this particular race. Let's look at the contributors tab now. He got a lot of money from APAC, $55,600. And from a firm known as Elliott Management, $32,580. All the rest of his contributions were pretty small. After the $32,580 contribution from Elliott Management, he got some contributions in the $10,000 range from places like American Federation of Teachers, American Institute of CPAs, the Machinists/Aerospace Workers Union, National Air Traffic Controllers, National Association of Realtors, lots of small contributions. Okay, the note says these tables list the top donors to candidates in the 2021-2022 House election. The organizations themselves did not donate. Rather, the money came from the organization's PACs, their individual members, or employees or owners, and those individuals' immediate families. Organizations' totals include subsidiaries and affiliates. And so that says there was a lot of PAC money involved here. Specifically, and in cases where individuals may have been involved, they were fairly well-off individuals. So going to industries, top industries included securities and investment, 116,580, insurance, 95,800, and real estate. First top three contributions were from the fire sector. Okay, altogether about close to 300,000 from the fire sector. Pro-Israel groups contributed 74,700. Accountants, 43,500. Commercial banks, 35,000. Building trade unions, 32,500. Public sector unions, 28,000. Crop production and basic processing, 19,500. I'm sorry, I seem to have a frog in my throat tonight for some reason. Casinos and gambling, 19,500. Industrial unions, 18,000. Democratic Liberal group, 17,400. So a lot of relatively large scale contributions coming from varied sources, uh, lots from the fire sector and some from labor unions. If we look at actual sectors, we get sector totals broken down from agribusiness, 22,000, communications, electronics, 39,300, construction, 25,000, defense, 15,000, energy and natural resources, 23,800, finance, insurance, and real estate, 495,280. Wow. That dwarfs any other sector. 20,754 from health sector, 6,000 from lawyers and lobbyists, 61,100 from miscellaneous business, labor, 102,500. Ideology, single issue, $104,012. And the other category, 43,200. I'm not going over Tyler Geffeney's figures because they're not really significant since, he was beaten pretty badly in the race. I'll briefly look at the PACs, specifically. There's a division here into business, labor, and ideological PACs. Business PACs, 444,500. Labor PACs, 107,500. Ideological PACs, 34,912. That basically tells that story. Our friend Juan Vargas was, in the majority, a PAC man, for sure. And to the extent he wasn't a PAC man, he was a large contribution man. In terms of outside spending, again, there was only $280 in support of Juan Vargas. There was a little money from the Sierra Club Super PAC, Planned Parenthood gave 0. I don't know why they're listed here. Sierra Club gave 10. Super PACs, by the way. Planned Parenthood gave $8. And the Courage California Super PAC gave $262. So super PACs were not a factor in this race. But PACs and contributions over 200 were. And on both of those scores, Juan Vargas fails the litmus test. And members of the CPC continue to fail the litmus test. Every one of them we've covered so far. And I haven't counted lately, but we must have covered 60 by now. Have flunked the litmus test.
And there's that assumption. People look at progressives, and they think that because they're progressives, they're not taking corporate funds, they're not involving themselves with corporations. So there's this assumption out there. And then when you dive deep into it, you see that they're taken from corporate and everybody else. And that's why nothing can get done.
And they're taking big money. And in some cases, like in Juan Vargas's case, obviously, he's absolutely bought by the fire sector. Absolutely. Over half of what he raised came from just that one sector. Anyway, moving to Lori Trahan. She's an incumbent from the state, of Massachusetts. She raised $1,956,394 in her race. Spent $1,374,856, ended with cash on hand $867,499. As I recall, and I believe I'm right, she first was elected in 2018. So this was her third win. She's got to be in a solid Democratic district because her Republican opponent only raised $158,095 and spent, her Republican opponent, Dean Trahan, spent exactly the same amount of money, ended with no cash on hand, at all. But he raised 1/15 of what Lori raised, 1/13 of what she raised, something like that. There was no outside spending by super PACs in this race at all. Oh, I'm sorry. There was $8 raised by Lori Trahan. Oh, by the way, did I share? Was I sharing Lori Trahan's thing? No. I better share that. There we are. And that should be it. You should have it in the stream now. Yes, you can see it. So this was the summary page. Let's move on to the candidates page. That gives more information, such as how close the race was. So Lori had 64.0% of the vote. She won rather handily. Now catch this. Her small individual contributions, less than or equal to $200, zero. She raised no money from small individual contributions. Someone from the Congressional Progressive Caucus raised no money. Raised no small individual contributions. Raised no money from the people. Put it that way. Had 1,426,446, 73% of our contributions came from individuals whose contributions were greater than $200. So the average contributions was probably much higher than $200. She also did very well with the PACs, getting $516,000 from PACs, 26.42% of what she raised. There was $13,124 from the other category, whatever that is. But that was 0.67% of the money she raised. Okay, we could look at Dean Trans for a minute. He raised $41,441 from small individual contributions. So he, the Republican, had more small individual contributions than Lori Trahan had. But 69% of his money came from large individual contributions. That was $109,000. He got $6,224 from PACs. He did a little self-financing, $247 worth, and he got $900 from other sources. So we can't say he's much of a PAC man, but he did do very well with large individual contributions above $200, which also excludes him. So he fails the litmus test as well, largely on the basis of his large individual contributions above $200. So let's move to contributors. So as the note says, these tables list the top donors to candidates in the 2021-2022 House election cycle. The organizations themselves did not donate. Rather, the money came from the organization's PACs, their individual members or employees or owners, and those individuals' immediate families. So you see, Lori did not have a huge amount of money from any of these. Northwest Biotherapeutics, $17,400. Also UKG, $17,400. Greater Boston Urology, $15,000. Must be a doctor's group. Wingate Healthcare, $14,600. Bricklayers Union, $12,500. The Data Robot Incorporated, $12,300. Bain Capital, they're big in the Boston area, $11,600. The president of Bain Capital used to be Mitt Romney. So Blue Haven Initiative, $11,600. Triumvirate Environmental, $11,600. Avenue Solutions, $11,300. So she got a lot of middling, small donations from organizations, including their PACs. And the total of those was fairly substantial. Let us turn to the industries. Her top industry is lobbyists, 145,944. Isn't that encouraging? From real estate, 124,045. Lawyers and law firms, 94,400. Health professionals, 94,005. Building trade unions, 83,500. Retired, 83,038. Securities and investments, 74,000. Hospitals and nursing homes, 67,000. Public sector unions, 53,000. Pharmaceuticals, health products, 51,000. Business services, 36,000. Nonprofit institutions, 33,000. 250. Transportation unions, 30,500. Electronics manufacturing equipment, 30,445. Industrial unions, 30,000. Education, 26,725. Insurance, 23,600. And basic processing and crop sector, 23,500. For miscellaneous unions, 22,500. And Democratic and liberal groups, 22,325. Okay, let's take a look at sectors now. Sometimes that's illuminating because it aggregates 11 different contributions into broad sectors, so you can see the interest the person was serving. Agribusiness, 39,000. Communications electronics, 74,390. Construction, 58,850. Defense, 17,000. Energy, natural resources, 27,800. The fire sector, 258,446. The health sector, 250,050. So far, you see, there are two leading sector contributors are fire, health, and here comes lawyers and lobbyists, 240,344. There was also 101,523 for miscellaneous business and 219,500 from labor. Also, ideological single issue gave her 79,237. And she got 155,889 from other interests, which are not here disclosed. So, fairly clearly, she receives her money from wealthy individuals and from PACs. Okay, among the PACs, she gets 225,900 from business, 219,500 from labor, 53,012 from ideological, and other is 10,000. So that's about over 500,000 from PACs. The rest of her money is from large contributors, contributions above 200,000. She took no trouble to build a grassroots fundraising effort. She's not bought by the grassroots. She's bought by particular interests and particular industries. Again, in outside spending, there was no appreciable outside spending in this campaign. There was $8 in support of Lori Trahan. And that came from Planned Parenthood. So she's a PAC person. She's a representative of people who can afford to make contributions of over $200 to her campaign. So she too fails the litmus test. Now, here we are again. We're at another candidate, specifically a new congressperson from the New Mexico 1st District. I'm going to share one of her pages on open secrets. And she is Melanie Stansbury from the 1st Congressional District of New Mexico. And Melanie is quite a fundraiser. This was her first time out. She raised $3,511,059. That was more than the average congressperson. She spent $3,550,842. She ended with $11,341. Her opposition, who is Michelle Garcia Holmes, raised $288,232, spent $298,237, ended with $1,699 in cash. Maybe she's had some money left over from a previous race. Outside spending by candidate was considerable, as we see here. For Melanie Stansbury, it was 200. She was supported by 255,087 in outside spending from super PACs or carry committees. She was opposed by $97,641 in outside spending. And Mark Morris, who was not one of the top two candidates, evidently, he was supported by $31,490 in outside spending. He's a Republican. And he was opposed by $2,881 in spending against him by outside groups. Then there are a few others. It's notable that Michelle Garcia Holmes, who was the main competitor to Melanie Stansbury on the Republican side, did not get any support from outside groups and was opposed only by $8 in outside spending from other groups. Okay, also Deborah Haaland, who used to be the congressperson from this district, and who's evidently maybe still on the ballot, got $8 in super PAC spending on her for this seat, which she was no longer running for. So let's go to the candidates tab, which gives more on percentages. So Melanie Stansbury only got 55.8% of the vote. With all that money raised, that's really, really interesting. And Melanie Stansbury got a lot of small individual contributions, $200 or less. She raised $922,172 from grassroots small contributions. That was 26.26%. But she also relied on large individual contributions greater than $200. That was 54.48% of her funding, $1,912,697, and then PAC contributions of $705,000, which amounted to 20.09%. She had an other category that was negative in size, $29,022. Maybe she gave back some contributions from people she didn't want to have anything to do with, but that was minus 0.83% of her contributions that she must have given back. Okay, Michelle Garcia Holmes, who raised less than 1/10 of Melanie Stansbury, got 44.2% of the vote. She made it close with very little money, comparatively speaking. So that was interesting on this race. The sources of funds for Michelle Garcia Holmes, 37,817 from individual contributions. Large individual contributions were 193,235. So there were large contributions fueling her race. There were also PAC contributions of 32,400. There was some candidate self-financing, $4,166, 1.45%. So she made it close with a lot less money than Melanie Stansbury. Maybe that says something about the future. Okay, I don't know. Melanie Stansbury's top contributors were University of New Mexico, $39,154. The Democracy Engine, $25,860. J Street, $25,617. J Street is a pro-Israel group which is friendly to Palestinian rights. And McGinn Montoya et al., law firm, $17,883, $16,918 from Emily's List. Honeywell International gave her $16,125. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Unions, $15,000. She got $15,000 from the CPC, $15,000 from the Machinists Aerospace Workers Union. The Labor PAC gave her $15,000. She got a lot of $15,000 contributions from PACs and associations. And those totaled up to, I think, a nice piece of change. Michelle Garcia Holmes' contributions were much smaller, $11,400 from the Frontier Restaurant, $8,700 from Petro, $5,800 from Judah Oil, $5,000 from the Hispanic Leadership Fund, $5,000 from Huck Pack, $5,000 from Eye of the Tiger Pack, and other smaller contributions that I will not mention. I'm going to take a look at the sectors now rather than the industries. Okay, agribusiness, 8227. Communications electronics, 59,876. Construction, 29,986. Defense, 33,820. Energy and natural resources, 31,208. Fire sector, 120,857. Health, 997,659. From lawyers and lobbyists, 260,034. That's a big chunk. For miscellaneous business, 155,579. From labor, 214,650. From ideology single issue groups, 666,119. And from other unnamed sectors, 549,434. That's a big chunk of change that basically is not attached to any sector. Interesting. Let's look a little more closely at the PACs. For Melanie Stansbury, ideological PACs gave her a little more than $400,000. Let's see, the number is there, $403.5 thousand. Labor PACs, $211K. Business, $66.8K. So that's very interesting. The business PACs was 66,750. Nothing like what you got from the labor PACs or from the ideological PACs. So, strangely, perhaps, she's an ideological PAC candidate to a great extent. She got a fair amount of money from PACs, 600, about close to 700,000 from PACs. Let's take a look at outside spending because there was a lot of it in this race. $255,000 in outside money support, super PACs, carry committees. in opposition to her, 97,641. So there was an ideological fight over her candidacy. Her main opposition, specifically Michelle Garcia Holmes, had only $8 that were opposed to her from the external groups. And 0 in support of her. Who are the outside groups? The Conservative Campaign Committee PAC spent 2009 097 in support of Holmes. The DCCC spent 197,968. Their PAC did in support of Melanie Stansbury. Dreams in Action, New Mexico, a 501c4, I presume, spent 4,860. Okay, Elect Educators Everywhere, which is a carry committee, spent 2,250. The Fed Up PAC, which was a Republican super PAC, spent about 1,000. Freedom Forward Fund, another Republican super PAC, spent 94,641. National Rifle Association spent 338. National Right to Life spent 950. National Right to Life Victory Fund spent 22,400. The New Mexico Native Vote, 1,918 in favor of Melanie Stansbury. The New Mexico Native Vote, 4,521. The New Mexico Strong Fund went in favor of Holmes. That was a super PAC. Operation 147 was a super PAC. Gave 10,000 in favor of Melanie Stansbury. Patriots, Liberty, and Prosperity Carry Committee gave 4,695 in favor of one of the Republicans. People for the American Way, PAC gave 23,966 in favor of Melanie Stansbury. Planned Parenthood gave, as a super PAC, gave $16 to Melanie Stansbury. Progress Now, New Mexico, gave 3,162. Protect the Vote, a super PAC, gave 3,000 to Melanie Stansbury, or in support of Melanie Stansbury. We have to be precise. These contributions are not given to campaigns. They are given in support of particular individuals who are running for office without coordination with those individuals' campaigns. The Working Families Party gave 5,025 to Melanie Stansbury. The Working Families Party IE Committee, a super PAC, gave 3,528 to Melanie Stansbury. So that was very interesting. Melanie Stansbury seems to be an ideological candidate who is representing ideological PACs and super PACs to a great extent. And she got a lot of large individual contributions out of that, and 705,000 in PAC financing, and a good deal of independent expenditure contribution from super PACs, okay, as well. So, of course, she fails the test, took money from PACs, got money from super PACs, which she failed to repudiate, and took a lot of large individual contributions. so it was supported by relatively rich people, probably professional classes. So she too then fails the litmus test. So we have three more candidates. There was Melanie Stansbury of District 1, 2022, Juan Vargas of District 52 in California, and Lori Trahan now I've forgotten her district in Massachusetts, but Lori Trahan. Lori Trahan of Massachusetts. Let me double check that. Second district of Massachusetts. Okay. All three failed. All three had different patterns of fundraising in their races, but there was great reliance on large contributions, and there was great reliance on PACs. And that's why they weren't able to pass the litmus test. And so, Dee, any comments on that examination?
That's going to be not taking the corporate money.
Well, it's not so clear that it's only corporate money.
Right, it's just PAC money.
Yes, okay, it's PAC money. It's partly coming from corporations, but it's coming from ideological interests as well. Those may be fed by corporations. Okay, thing about corporations is they feed their money in through a lot of outlets. They feed their money in through the ideological groups. They feed their money indirectly. They feed their money in through PACs. And they feed their money in through individuals who work for the corporations. So yes, there is a lot of corporate money in here. But it's not always easy to see exactly how much money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just looking for that clean person, the person that we can really rally behind.
Yes. There were a number of comments here that were interesting. Kay Ryan says there was lots of buffering tonight, Joe. Well, thank you, Kay. It just must be the atmosphere. I understand that it's getting very windy in certain parts of the country coming in from the west. And I know you're in Ohio. I don't know if it's windy there yet. It's not that windy here yet, but we understand it's soon going to be very windy here. And I think that does affect the buffering. Steve Day is here, and he says, I am here. Hi. Thank you, Steve. Robert Copeland says, Sierra Club should spend some money to defeat a really bad ballot measure in the 2024 elections. That will be good. And Around the World with Brandy and D, that's D, says, hi, Brandy, hi, Kay, hi, Robert, hi, Stephen. Robert says, hello, everybody. And Brandy says, hi, Robert. Robert says, I would be surprised if anybody in Congress passes the litmus test. Yeah, now that I've been through so many of these, I would be very surprised too, because I think what's been institutionalized in Congress is taking PAC money. The people who want to contribute through the PACs. so that it's not so apparent who they are, so that their money remains dark. I think a lot of that is going on. I think there's a lot of individual contribution money going on too that's greater than $200. We've seen a number of these candidates raised a lot of money in contributions greater than 200. And I think it's become habitual for Congress people to accept that kind of money. And a lot of them are just not interested in raising funds from the grassroots, which means, of course, that they're not interested in representing the grassroots. I think that has something to do with things as well. So Robert said, the last few days I've been getting several emails from Kevin McCarthy. By the way, Kay said, but me too, Robert. uh, from Kevin McCarthy wanting me to donate to him to stop President Biden's liberal agenda. K. Rice says, there's an active shooter at Michigan State University. By the way, I don't know if many of you know it, but my PhD is from MSU. That's my old school, one of my old schools. Robert Copeland says, K, have they reported dead or injured people yet? K says, not yet, but might be multiple shooters. Wonderful. Robert, it's on YouTube, Agenda Free News. Thank you, Kay. Robert said, I had no buffering tonight. Well, that's strange because you're supposed to be where the wind is, Robert. Is it windy where you are? And he says, I just saw multiple injuries reported. Okay, I don't know at this point whether there was a live stream from Greg tonight.
I haven't seen anything from Greg, so I would assume he's not having it. He would have said something to us.
Yes, he would have said something on Facebook so we could join the stream. So he has not been streaming yet. He has not yet returned to streaming. Okay. Nope. There's nothing from him. Hang on just a second. My daughter suggests, hey, Pop, maybe you should reload some of these shows by state. So instead of their name, they can look by the state they live in. Maybe so. I'm not sure how to reload the shows by state, but maybe my daughter knows. And maybe she'll tell me when I ask her. Okay, so, and Bob Copeland says, got no notification that Greg is going to live stream on YouTube. Brandy says, today was his brother's birthday. Ah, yes. So it was probably a really down day for him. He did mention something about the death of his brother was a wrongful death. And it looks like there was a court decision either today or very recently that actually held the person who did the wrongful death, uh, held that person accountable. So I think he was very happy about that. Maybe he went out and celebrated. It probably means a lot to him. I'm sure it does. Brandy said yes. Okay. Okay. Any closing comments, Dee?
Yes, please like, share, and subscribe to Dr. Joseph Firestone, his Empowering Democracy. It's very important for him to have subscribers and for you to share his program and hit the like button. And we're going to be back tomorrow night. My show, Around the World with Brandy and Dave, me and Brandy Weaver. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to Around the World with Brandy and Dee. And please like, share, and subscribe to Revolution Evolution, which is Greg's show, when he comes back, okay, at 10 p.m. And I think we do expect him back fairly soon now. Well, Brandy says it was very recent. They are pressing charges. Okay. Thank you, Brandy, okay, for letting us know that. So, just for those of you who don't know, but Dee and Brandy and myself, okay, and Greg and Madeline Hoffman, okay, are kind of a team now. We're frequently streaming together, sort of forming a panel to support each other on our particular shows. And there are 3 shows involved. There's the Around the World with Brandy and Dee show. There's the Revolution Evolution show. And there's the Empowering Democracy show, okay, which is my show, of course. So thank you all for coming. Maybe I should add, we are not a formal network. Okay, we are a social network. We're decentralized. We're helping each other out because we all have an interest in the material that we are all doing. One of the important interests is the dump the corruption interest, because that seems to be the key to a lot of things. So I'm not sure what name to give our network as yet, but it is an informal social network. It's not a single organization. We have a number of people who've been forming in formal social networks, trying to use some kind of network news model. We are using more a social network model, which is distributed and essentially bottom up. And I think all of us kind of like the bottom up form of organization.
Yes, I think we do.
So that's what this is. Okay, if anybody asks you, and I suppose it's time to say goodnight. So yes, Kay, we love you all. Thank you very much for always coming. We really appreciate you. And Steve Day, Brandy, of course, we appreciate you. And Robert Copeland, we appreciate you too. And we appreciate Steve Wolfbrandt also very much, even though he is not here today.
And for people that are here right now and will watch later, we appreciate you watching this later.
Yeah. Yes, we do. So good night, Dee, and thank you very much for co-hosting.
Yes, you're welcome, and thank you for being on my show as well.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Bye. Oh, I have to end the broadcast.